Now, of course, we'll go across to Dr. Subramanian Swamy, Member of Parliament from the BJP, who's joining us. Sir, thanks so much for speaking to us here in Times Now. And also, sir, I'd like to begin by asking you that on the Lord Krishna Janmabhoomi Eidgah issue, the hearing is expected to happen on the 30th of September. Your first reaction to this development?
There's no development. Somebody has filed a suit. It's coming up for hearing, I think. There are... of course, let me say the objective of restoring the Krishna Janmabhoomi is a dear objective for all Hindus. And we have said of the 40,000 plus minus temples demolished during the Mughal period, only 3 are where we are saying it should be restored. And one was Ram Janmabhoomi, which the work has been done. Now I'm on Kashi Vishwanath. And the third one is this Mathura, Krishna Janmabhoomi. Now, in the Krishna Janmabhoomi, there are 3 major obstacles to be overcome. One is that there's a 1991 Act which bars anything except Ram Janmabhoomi to be reopened. Now, I don't know whether the people there in the suit have challenged it. I have certainly already challenged it. My petition is awaiting being listed and heard. But my line of approach is quite different. And because these people have filed a suit, and the suit will, of course, even if it's heard, will take a very long time. And what I did in the Ram Janmabhoomi was to accelerate the hearing by bringing the question of faith and fundamental rights in it. And that's how the dates were given on the basis of my petition, and not on the basis of the pending appeals in the Supreme Court based on suits. So therefore, this suit will have to first get over the 1991 Act hurdle. Second thing is that unlike in the Kashi Vishwanath and the Ram Janmabhoomi matter, there is an agreement between Hindus and Muslims which has to be effectively demolished. I mean, the petitioners have said that, it's illegal and so on, but I haven't seen their arguments. But I think it has to meet the test of judicial logic. And therefore, the courts will have to decide. And maybe this cannot be decided at the suit level. They may have to go to the Supreme Court for it. And the third thing is that we have the arguments on the basis of suits is my property, your property. It's not a question of bhaktas wanting to pray there where Ramakrishna was born. So, I mean, therefore, it becomes a property dispute, which means endless production of documents and so on. So I think that is why I decided to go first to the Kashi Vishwanath thing, where it's a very much more straightforward question, much simpler than the Ram Janmabhoomi, because I don't have to prove that a temple was demolished and a masjid built on it, because you can see part of the temple even today where the masjid has been built over it. So there's no question. Then Aurangzeb's written farman is there. So I mean, there's all kinds of evidence where I don't have to do prove the preliminary. I think this is going to be a very, very long case. And the way these petitioners have gone in, or the suitors have gone in, but of course the objective is something that all of us share.
All right, and Dr. Swamy, in fact, will you be also filing a petition in Mathura case, or will you continue to fight only the Kashi Vishwanath case in courts?
No, because, why should I muscle in somewhere where they haven't even consulted me and they haven't even asked me? And why should I do it? I mean, anyway, I got my hands full with Kashi Vishwanath, so I can't do it right now. I chose Kashi Vishwanath because of the intractable, on the face of it, intractable issues in the Krishna Janmabhoomi case.
Also, sir, in fact, since you called it a hurdle earlier, do you think that there is a need to amend the 1991 Places of Worship Act?
Either they amend it by adding 2 more exceptions. besides Ram Mandir, Ram Janmabhoomi, Kashi Vishwanath and Mathura. and then allow us to negotiate in the Mathura case, allowed to negotiate for annulling that contract. But beyond that, I don't want the act to be. I don't want the act to be declared unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional. But I will argue that it is unconstitutional in my petition, which is before the Supreme Court and which is to be heard soon. But I will say that if the court decides in the larger interest that this question should not be gone into of the constitutionality now, but my prayer is met if they make Kashi Vishwanath as an exception. I have not asked for an exception for the Mathura thing because there's an existing contract and it would be a betrayal of that contract unless I can prove that it was obtained under compulsion, which can't be because it was in independent India in 1968.
Dr. Swamy, in fact, the Mathura issue has already become political. The opposition is calling it an attempt at polarization.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to engage in any agitation at all. And nor I was in the Ram Mandir Janmabhoomi agitation at all. I was in the background as Minister of Law and Justice in Chandrasekhar's government and as a minister in Mr. Narasimha Rao's government. In fact, Mr. Rao has written a very laudatory letter to me as how much he has benefited from hearing my suggestions on the Ram Mandir issue. I have been for it. I was for it when Rajiv Gandhi opened the locks and then they allowed Shilanyas of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad and showed Ramayana on Doordarshan to create mass psychology. So I've been there. But you see, I can't get into this thing because they have not consulted me. Second, they have gone in a suit. That doesn't suit me, so to speak, if I can use a double meaning for it. And therefore, I wish them luck because this is an objective which you all share. But I would like to concentrate on Kashi Vishwanath.
Dr. Subramanian Swamy, thanks so much for joining us here on Times Now. And certainly, of course, we'll be tracking all the developments in relation to this very significant case. We're slipping into a quick break for now, but the news and updates continue in just a few moments. Stay tuned.